Show episode, and I'm very excited to have with me Little Miss Marxist as my first guest. So thank you for coming on.
Thanks for
How are
having
you
me.
doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing freaking fantastic considering everything that's going on. You know, country being a complete shit show. But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
nice to have you on our side. So I feel
uh,
better with our group for sure.
yeah, we have an awesome group on Twitter and TikTok. We have a great group of people, and we need to keep fighting. So with that in mind, I want to just jump right into the I don't want to say breaking news, but it was news today. Wow, I just got a notification for my own show. Uh, but it's that Trump and Don Jr. ended up leaving the board of Truth Social about a week before the feds came in.
Oh.
So, what do you think of the timing of that?
My first question would be who tipped them off for them to leave 1 week prior?
Yeah.
So there's that part of it, meaning they were told this from somewhere. Um, I don't really know where the investigation came from. Who's doing it? The SEC?
Is that who's doing it?
I think
Let me pull it up.
that's who's doing it. But my
Is
first question would be, how did they get this information to jump a week before? Which leads me to kind of like go down the rabbit hole of that there's still people in these positions that
so
shouldn't
it's
be
so
there.
it's two actually, Marksy. It's the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, as well as a grand jury in Manhattan.
Hmm.
So he's getting a little two way there that he probably isn't enjoying.
And they left Devin Devin Nunes holding the bag.
Holding the bag,
I bet he's utterly shocked.
utterly shocked. He's utterly shitting himself. Okay. Let's see. He was one of six board members removed on June 8th. So, yeah. Like you said, he had to have
Inside information.
the SEC served Trump Media and Technology Group with a subpoena on June 27th. He left the board on June 8th. Who told him?
I wonder.
What is that, 2 weeks? About 2 weeks?
Yeah. There's nothing sketchy about that, right?
Nothing. 4 days later, on July 1st, a grand jury in Southern District of New York handed the company another federal subpoena.
So is he going to have to testify or
You will never get this man under oath. Ever, 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 ever.
how is that possible though? That's one of my main questions in all of this. It's how does he continuously avoid accountability for anything? Is it just holding things up in court? Or I feel like any other normal individual, let's take Lindsey Graham for example. They said that I just read before we came on, two Republicans were trying to fight the subpoena and the DA squashed it and they said, you have to come in. So why is Donald Trump not held to the same accountability?
I think that's the question most of us on the left are asking on a daily basis. This man, they call him Teflon Don for a reason, because he's seemingly unsinkable. Like, it just seems like it doesn't matter what this guy does, there's not going to be accountability. And that is so bad for this country, to let this man go on this what can only be considered a crime spree,
Yeah, basically.
without being held accountable. That it's going to haunt us. It really is, along with the Supreme Court, that he appointed. But I mean, he's clearly still getting tipped off. He's clearly still getting away with these loopholes.
Yeah.
So he's clearly still got people looking out for him. It's because if not, he would have gotten hemmed up right there.
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing that should have happened when Biden came into office, DeJoy should have been gone. Chris Wray should have been gone. They should have totally annihilated anybody that he put in any of these positions. And I know there's due process that, these things can't just be done overnight. However, that should have been the first line of business, because they are still corrupting everything from the inside out and they shouldn't be in these positions.
Yeah.
Like the Supreme Court specifically, like we have a 2-time impeached president. that has instilled these people in the court. All of them lied under oath, and that they're still just allowed to sit there is just completely mind-boggling to me.
All
And
of them
nothing can
lied
be
under
done.
oath.
All of them lied under oath.
Yeah. Speaking, can I just kind of side note, and I know that I didn't put this on the outline, but can we talk about Cassidy Hutchinson for a second? Can we
Yes.
just talk about how fucking awesome she is?
Agree.
I mean, you just brought up all these men that won't show up, won't testify, plead the fifth, all these things because they're guilty as shit.
100%.
But it's taking this 25-year-old woman to show up and basically be like, yeah, no, they're crazy, and
Yeah.
just lay it all out. And the kicker is how many people came out and said, oh, well, she barely knew the president, including Donald Trump himself. How many pictures have we seen of her like 10 feet from him on that day now?
Dozens.
Like,
one of my favorite pictures I saw of her, though, was with her, Kevin McCarthy, Mark Meadows, and I can't freaking remember the third one, but walking through the halls of the White House, and she is leading the conversation. So this coffee girl that they're claiming that she was, who doesn't know anything, was in that circle deep with everybody. And while I really respect her coming forward and testifying, I'm still holding on. All of these people knew what was going on, and they didn't say anything until it was subpoenas are coming and things like that. And so it's a little bit hard for me to really cheerleader for her, because
no, that's fair. That's
she
fair.
should have come forward immediately with this information. All of them should. It's just all the rats are jumping the ship now. So they all know that this thing is going down. And so now they're coming forward, or they had to write their book first. And that's just something that I have a hard time digesting,
No, and I mean, that's something that I've said, but I think that's something that we need to all continue bringing up, because it's a very valid point. They could have come out that day, the next day, and ended this whole thing. But because they didn't, we're 2 years down the road, we're still kicking the same can, and there's very little accountability. And even the accountability that's been handed out has been laughable at best.
Not enough.
And it's just, we're headed in a really dark direction. And it seems like every time we get on a show or we do a post, it's always like, hey, I'm trying not to be an alarmist here, but I'm going to alarm you.
Everything that they said we were being over dramatic about is happening, for
100%.
Roe and the election and everything like that. And I really feel like these are just all training exercises that are happening for what's coming down the pipeline in 2022, even 2024. We're in a danger zone right now.
Well, I think that what you just said is why a lot of like military veterans and stuff like that are having such issue, because we see the training exercise side of this. And that's why we're all kind of like, this isn't good. Like this
They're
really
seeing
is
how much
good.
they can get away with, right?
Yep.
Seeing how far they can push, and with absolutely no accountability from anybody, it's just emboldening them to do more, right?
I mean, that's how we got to January 6th. That's Trump's whole MO. It was, let me tweet this out, see if I get away with it, see if it gets support, and if it does, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
That's literally his whole presidency.
I totally agree.
Like, if you'd have taken his Twitter away like 3 months into the presidency, his presidency would have failed, because
I agree.
He wouldn't have been able to do anything.
I agree. I'm really loving his Truth Social post, though, because I really believe that a lot of it is going to be used later, because he just won't shut the fuck up, right? So he's, every time he goes on Newsmax or something like that, he's just incriminating himself more, with the Cassidy Hutchinson situation, saying he didn't know her. And then he flipped to, she's just mad that I didn't hire her to work for me in Florida. And his stories are just all over the place. So he can keep talking, but the Truth Social meltdowns are really enjoyable during morning coffee. If you haven't tried it, you should.
I can't bring myself. I couldn't do Parler, and I don't think I can do Truth Social. I leave that up to people like you who get some sick, fucking twisted enjoyment out of it.
I just think it's comical, but also, how crazy is it that kind of a little less than half of America buys into that and is cheering for that, and you're really like, yikes. Like,
that's the disheartening part. Like, I know we all kind of joke about it because you have to laugh. We have to laugh at some of this stuff, but we do have to come back to the reality of this isn't a joke. Like, these people are dead
yeah,
freaking serious.
yeah,
And honestly, I think that's part of the problem is that people get too comfortable just shrugging something off as, oh, that they misspoke or they didn't mean it that way or what. No, that's exactly what they meant. They were testing it to see if you would just forget it. And then while their base is eating it up and you're just, you're just dismissing it. That's what got us here. You can't
yeah.
dismiss the crazy. These
Yeah.
people are
Well,
crazy.
and you have Fox News and Newsmax, and Fox News is the highest rated channel in America or something like that. Like I read something, their news,
Really?
Tucker Carlson has the most popular show on American television as in like ratings,
I
right?
mean, Joe Rogan's like yeah, shouldn't surprise me.
Don't get me started on him. But you have this channel like Fox News, which is banned in many countries, right? I work for a Canadian company. There is no Fox News in Canada. They see these clippings, my team, and they're like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, I know, it's batshit crazy. And you have to think too, like, it's not just like they're doing trash talk or, talking about pop culture and things like that. The things that they're talking about are posing dangerous threats to people of color, the trans community, women. You just take one soundbite from a Tucker Carlson evening show, and it is so dangerous. And so it's like, where are the checks and balances that they're just going to allow this straight up propaganda to be played all over every television in America? And I don't even know the answer to this, but it's like, how is this possible? Who is going to allow this to happen, or who's going to stop this to happen? Because there's a very fine line between free speech and propaganda, and it's 100% Russian propaganda used over, or Nazi Germany propaganda. They're using the same exact playbook, and everyone's watching it like a slow motion train wreck, and nobody's doing anything. So my question goes to, who the hell is going to do something about this?
Yeah, we're all wondering who's going to save us. Who's going to step in and save us?
I don't
And
even know if the voters can save us at this point because it's so corrupt. And
well, you can't. I mean, prime example, Carrie Lake. She's running for governor here in Arizona, and Governor Ducey, he came out and endorsed her opponent. So Carrie Lake is Trump endorsed, and Karine, I think I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but now she's being endorsed by Ducey. So Ducey's splitting with Trump and endorsing somebody else. So it's like now Carrie Lake is already pushing the narrative that when she loses, it's going to have been stolen from her.
right,
It didn't even take her 2 hours to freaking push that out.
right.
So that's literally their game plan. Their game plan is, if we don't win, it's stolen. If we win, the election was fine. And if you don't see the problem right there, like that's their whole game plan. We're going to steal the elections, and hopefully nobody will say and do anything about it again.
Well, and the dangerous part too is that there is a whole bunch of crazy right-wing people going for Secretary of State, I believe. I might be saying that wrong, but it's the person who's going to certify these elections. And how are we going to stop that, right? So they're literally infiltrating every single branch of government.
Yeah, we got an oath keeper here.
Are you kidding me?
No, I can't think of his name all of a sudden. Starts with an F, but yeah, he's running for Secretary of State, and he's a known oath keeper. He was there January 6th. They got photos of him down there.
I don't understand why anybody would even be allowed to. Like, that's what shows the breakdown of our system, is that you can have someone who's being investigated for something. There's photos of him trying to overthrow the government, and that he is still even allowed to run. That's wrong.
Yeah.
And what can we do as citizens or whatever to change that? Like, that's where my frustration comes from, is because nothing is being done about anything. And who has the power to change these things? And
that I think, and my frustration is that on top of, it feels to me, and I'm just going to speak from my personal experience or feelings, that we aren't in it to win it. Like they don't put the people up like you and me who would literally eat these fucking people alive.
Yeah.
Like they don't back us. They back the weak, prim and proper people that they think are going to play ball. And it's like, that's not what we need.
No.
You know, that's what got you cinema.
Yeah.
We need somebody that's going to come in and be like, okay, AOC is somebody who comes in, and whether you agree with her on it or not, she comes in, she kicks the fucking door down, and she says, this is what needs to be done.
Yep.
You know, either do it or don't, but this is what needs to be done.
Yep.
And I can respect that. I don't always agree with her, but I can respect the way she goes about it. And that's how I want us to do it. It's like, look, don't look at AOC as you have to agree with everything she says, but look at how she delivers her freaking message. Yep. And like you were saying earlier, it's how you put people in their place, and her ability to put everybody in their place, but not call them names per se, you know, just very fact of the matter, like, oh yeah, well, what about this? And it's like, ooh,
like,
okay.
Proof after proof after proof. Just
here's receipt after, you know,
yes.
You just brought nothing but a false accusation. Here, let me show you how dumb you really are.
Yes.
And well, that's what we need.
For sure. There's a breakdown here, right? Because we have these boomers, and I hate to say it, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but we have these older Democrats like the Crypt Keeper that need to move along, right? You know, they don't know how to fix the current day problems that we have. They don't have a backbone, and they're not fighting for anything when all of us have donated and showed up to vote and done all of these things for them. And they just sit there like being nice, like, well, we can't do this. It's like, that's not what we need. And I'm kind of shocked that they're not more alarmed at the state of what the country is in right now. I mean, yes, we have these couple of people that are holding everything up, but I feel like having the House, the Senate, and the White House, more should be done. And how are we going to do that? Because with them just sitting on their hands, the end of democracy is very near. And I don't mean to, you know, sound like an alarmist, but we're getting to a very dangerous point in our country.
We're there. I don't think you're being an alarmist. I think we're there. And I fear even more so that the Democrats are so busy putting out so many fires that we aren't looking 2 and 4 years down the road. Sure. Like the one question I keep getting asked is, who's going to run next? You know, after Biden, who's going to be the next, you know, heir apparent to the Democratic chair? And it's like, yeah, nobody's really jumping out at me. You know, I mean, Gavin Newsom, but he's got a lot of baggage. So it's like, you know, who else jumps out at you and you're like, president? That's somebody that I want to see as president.
I mean, AOC, but she'll never be given the shot. I don't think she's old enough as well. But
she will be by 2024, I think. But here's the thing about AOC. I personally, if I was AOC's, you know, advisor for whatever reason, I'd say, look, you know, you're building up so much freaking political equity. Keep doing that for another couple cycles, or just another cycle, another 8 years. You know, let one more president go by, and then let her take her freaking swing. I think at that point she would have such a long resume and have proven herself time and time again that she would be able to do it her first time out. If she goes in 2024, she's going to lose. But if she waits and really continues developing her political platform, I think she'd be very hard to beat.
Agree. I don't think this is going to be very popular, but I don't think Biden should run again in 2024. I think he's too old. I don't know if he can win again, especially so the way that everything's going right now, you know, he's to blame for everything that Trump did, right? You know, like the gas prices are his fault. Everything is Biden's fault right now. But I think that he is at an age where he doesn't understand a lot of things anymore. And I'm not talking about his cognitive abilities. I'm talking about someone in their 80s is too old to be dealing with the current climate of everything that's going on right now. And I don't know if he could win again if he ran, to be honest. It's not going to be popular, but
Well, it's not popular, but unfortunately, it's something that I share with you. It's a feeling that I share with you. Prime example. My best friend. I wouldn't say that he's a conservative because he tends to vote more Democrat, really, or lean more Democrat in terms of issues. But we were talking about it, and he does not like Biden, and he said, he's doing a horrible job. And I go, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, he barely can speak. I'm like, okay, well, Trump could barely speak. So, let's move on from that. And I said, what about his job performance do you not like? And he was like, hmm. And I said, you can't say gas prices because gas prices are it's a worldwide issue and it's much more complex than just the president. I go, OPEC, we get most of it from Canada. So many things. There's a potential World War III going on. Like there's so many things affecting the gas price. It has nothing to do with Biden. He's like, nope, you're absolutely right. I was like, okay, inflation. And I go, inflation, again, worldwide issue, has a lot to do with COVID, all these other things. Listen to them all. He goes, yep, nope. And I said, and then on top of it, here's the things that he's done to try to combat it. And here's what Republicans vote. Like I said, so what has Joe Biden, what about his job performance don't you like? I couldn't get one thing out of him.
Exactly, because if from what you were just saying, he's just regurgitating Fox News talking points.
Well, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't watch Fox News.
It's these direct talking points.
And that's what it was. It was a right wing talking point
over and over again, right?
Yeah.
And that's not a reason to think a president is doing a bad job. You're just parroting what you've heard somewhere that you can.
Now, don't get me wrong. Like there's been plenty of times where he's speaking or doing a speech, and I'm like, like I know we're going to hear about that later on Twitter.
Totally agree. Totally agree. But I think the people that they're not going to accept the wins of his presidency, no matter if he made it rain fucking gold, they would like it. And it's because they're too deep into wanting to like hate him. And just because he's a Democrat, it doesn't have anything to do with the job that he's doing.
Yep. And like you said, he may have gotten the vote the second time. I don't think that we as Democrats should bank the election on, well, let's just hope that everybody votes Democrat because they attempted a coup. Like that's not a winning strategy.
No.
These people want action.
They have to give us a why. Why am I going to vote for you? We all got down there. We got the Senate, Congress, and the White House. And like, now show me what you're going to do, because we still have empty promises from things that they said they were going to do. Right. And
again, granted, I try to be fair. We couldn't predict the cinema would do the things that she did. Manchin, he's kind of always been what he is. But, cinema really fucked some shit up, in terms of our majorities. And it really frustrates me because, just because she's from my state. And so many people here in Arizona now, they're like, I wish I'd never donated to her. They're like, I went and banged doors for her in 108-degree weather in the middle of the summer so she would win. And this is what she does to us.
She's bought and paid for.
Oh, fuck yeah. Like she is one of those politicians. Unfortunately, she got in there, she saw the money and she was like, give me. And, fuck the people.
Yeah. Well, and when she's done, because she's going to get primaried, and I truly believe she'll get beat in that because people are so enraged because she lied as well about a lot of things, about Roe and things like that. Once she's primaried, I don't think she's going to have another term, but she's just fine with it. She's going to skip away with all of her blood money that she's getting from these donors, and she's not going to give a shit,
No.
Like, I don't think many of them do. So that's the wrong reason to be in politics, right? Like the only reason these people are in it is for this weird like fame thing that Donald Trump, like, do you remember? I mean, 10 years ago, I couldn't have told you who my congressperson was because they were just working and doing their job. They weren't these like C-list, like celebrity wannabe people. They were actually working for the people, right? So you just need to stop voting in these whores. I mean it in money whores.
You're like, I love how fast you went back to reclassify that. No, the political arena as a whole right now is so divided that it's like you said. I don't think it really matters what Biden does at this point. It's just he's not Trump, screw him, or he's not, Republican, screw it. Like it. There's no unity. There's no middle ground. It's just there's right, there's left. It's pick a side time, and we're gonna fight it out. That's literally where we're at.
But I do think that we are already starting to see fracturing in the Republican Party, right? Because
yeah,
DeSantis is going to run against, if Trump does try and run again, DeSantis is going to run against him. And I think there is enough Republicans right now that understand that Trump is going to go down, that he's going to be indicted for something, that they're going to cling on to DeSantis. So then you're going to have this fracture where all of these people who are these insane Trump cultists, are they all going to vote for DeSantis? So I think you're going to see the Republican vote actually split, because it's going to be kind of hard for anyone to go up against Trump, but you're going to have the McConnells that are like, we got to get rid of this guy. We got to find somebody else, because they all know Trump's trouble and that he's just ruined everything. So you're going to have like the elders, I like to call them, trying to push for another candidate. But how are you going to change all of these American people, the citizens that are just like foaming at the mouth for Donald Trump to vote for another Republican? So I think we might get a saving grace there, right? Like I think their vote is going to be completely split on whoever runs against him, if he even runs. It could just be.
I think it's just a grift. I don't think he wanted the job the first time.
Yeah, I don't think he did either.
But I actually agree with you. I think they're going to probably run him just because of the statistical data showing that an incumbent is hard to beat. But I do agree with you. I think if the Democrats were smart, which they never seem to do what I think would be smart, that we would find another candidate now and already be spinning them up and getting them ready for 2024.
I think Gavin Newsom is pulling ahead. Like, I think he's definitely like made some mistakes, but I'm a Californian, and what he's doing for California is amazing. For example, we're going to start producing our own insulin. We're becoming a sanctuary state, for women to come here and stay here, and we'll take care of them. And we're looking to be the first state to have our own healthcare, and all kinds of things. And I mean, just looking at like his behavior from what he's done, like over the past couple months, like joining Truth Social and putting actual truth out there. I believe he's still on there. I don't think he's been banned yet, but I mean, that took balls. Running ads against Ron DeSantis, not even in his state in Florida, like the weekend of 4th of July, that took balls. And I think he's really charging out ahead in front of everybody else, because I don't even know anybody else who they would even consider to do it, right? Like nobody is jumping out saying, I want to fix things, or I would like to lead, or anything like that. Like he seems to me to be the only Democrat that's kind of really putting himself out there in front at this stage. I mean, I know it's a little bit early, but I feel like it's time. We need to know.
Speaking of it's time, can I say one thing before we move on? We're going to put Bernie Sanders in the same place we're putting Joe Biden, in the fucking retirement home. Okay? Like, look, I got nothing against Bernie. I love a lot of his stances and policies. Extremely intelligent man. I got nothing but love for Bernie. That being said, the man had a fucking heart attack, basically. He needed a heart surgery while he was on the campaign trail the last time. So you think another 4 years from now, this dude's going to be a viable candidate? Like, guys, seriously, there's more.
Step aside.
And more importantly, Democrats need to stop fucking supporting these people and start finding somebody more viable. Yes. Like, it's not ageism to say, hey, guess what? Maybe at 80, you shouldn't be trying to run the entire country. Just a thought.
Right. And I mean, they did so well with trickle down economics, like, do you see it trickling? Like,
yeah.
Is it coming? Like, no, like this is the time where boomers need to step aside, Gen Z, and then the younger ones, they need to like really push forward. But I'm really enjoying seeing all of the young ones, especially on Twitter, that are engaged and informed, and they have their own followings. And I don't think I've seen as many young activists ever in my entire adult life than we have right now, because they care. and that is important. My generation didn't give a shit about anything,
No,
so
I think pretty sure we're the same generation. I was nowhere near the politically engaged at 16, 17, 18. Like you said, to see these young kids, like, let's also acknowledge that unfortunately some of it is out of necessity. They're engaged not because they want to be, they're engaged because they have to be.
Yeah.
And so we have to acknowledge that too. But yeah, it does do me it does do my heart good to see these young folks out there and see that they're already using their platforms in ways to influence people, to get the country back on track. They see, that we've clearly gone down a wrong road, and it's time to redirect. And they're our future, man. I mean, I'm 40, and these kids that are 19, they're going to be running the world when I'm getting ready to retire.
And thank God for that, because they'll be the ones to save the planet and protect trans kids. And you know what I mean? Like, they're such a wholesome generation, meaning they just have so much love in them. And
which is weird because they've had to endure so much that we didn't, these active shooter drills, and
they see it. They see what's happening.
Yeah.
They see the injustice of it all, and we are not in a predominantly white country anymore, right? Where these cookie cutter houses and everything, there's so much color and beauty, and everybody is so different now. And these kids really just want to be who they are, like nobody let us really be who we were, at least growing up, like we didn't have tons of out gay kids in school and things like that, because it was still like super, kind of touchy. But this is that boomer mentality. Marriage is for a man and a woman, and, all of this. And those ideals, us as a society, the world as a society has progressed so far past that. It's like set term limits. Like, these people shouldn't just be allowed to sit in government until the end of time, until they're either going to die or they're forced to retire. Like, that's something that that
goes for the Supreme Court as well. All right, so let's see. We got about a half hour. I want to make sure we get to everything good here. So let's just touch real quick on the Herschel Walker story. So it's come out that there have been some people in Herschel Walker's campaign that were, let's say they were just a little upset that he didn't disclose that he may or may not have had a few extra children. So I know, I'm sorry.
All the stuff about a father needs to be in the home, and a home without a father is a tragedy. And it's just, the guy has lied about everything. And what is he even going to do if he wins? Which I don't think he can, but good Lord.
I mean,
an intelligent man.
Well, we were talking about it before we jumped on. I personally think that he was recruited. I think he was literally recruited to run, and why not? He's probably like, yeah, I'll do it. I mean, I just, like you said, I don't see him winning, but unfortunately, I'm going to say this every time I say that about a candidate. I said the same thing about Trump. So I was wrong about that. So I could always be wrong. I just, man, if they vote this dude in, holy crap, like, so much has come out about this guy.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, what was it? He held a gun to his ex's head or something like that. Allegedly. Sorry. Yes. Allegedly, reportedly, allegedly. But, if it was a Democrat, holy shit, you hear it every day on Twitter, like on repeat.
And that these people that are these evangelicals, these Christian people that are going to vote for this man has had how many babies out of wedlock while he was married to somebody else? He's got children that have never met him before. So how could you even claim to be this, God-fearing, wholesome Christian and then give your money or vote to something like that? It's like an oxymoron. It doesn't make any sense. And the hypocrisy of it all is just right out in front of everybody's faces, but these people are just so glossed over.
Yeah.
Like I don't even think they see their own hypocrisy.
I really don't. I don't think they do either. I really I've gotten to the point where I think there's something wrong with them.
I
You
agree.
know, like you, me, most normal people, most people that we engage with, like if you point out to me that I'm wrong, you know, and you show me evidence, I'm gonna go, oh, Mark, so you're right, I was wrong. You know, and you're gonna be like, okay, cool, and you're gonna fix and you move on.
Right.
That's what normal freaking people do.
Yeah.
You know, oh, I was wrong about that person. Shit happens. You know, I was going off the information that I was given. Here's some new information. Let's change our mind now. But it's like they won't do that. It doesn't matter what information you give them. They're going to write it off as fake news. The left is just trying to take them out. It's the woke mob. You know, all the boogeymans that they come up with.
Yep.
That's what it's going to be. But
It's
like,
brainwash, right? Like Fox
oh yeah,
News and Donald Trump and these same talking points over and over are literally brainwashing these people.
yep.
And I don't think there's any way to stop it. The only way to stop a cult leader is to arrest them and throw them the fuck in prison, right?
Yeah, and
Or they die, you know, like
let the spell fade.
basically, you know. So the longer this man is on the streets, these people are never going to change.
Yeah,
They have something to believe in, you know. They're just going to get back in the White House. They got to cling on to it and believe it, you know. But I mean,
yeah.
that's kind of part of faith in a way.
Well, let's pray that Herschel Walker doesn't win, and he's going up against what?
Raphael Warnock.
He's going up against Raphael Warnock. So get out there if you're in Georgia. Go donate to him. Go support him. Go volunteer. Bang on doors. Use your platform online. Whatever it is you're able to do, do it.
Yeah. And when we're on Georgia, Marcus for Georgia is the vote, guys.
Yes, yes.
We gotta get Marge out. We gotta fix Georgia. And I'm like really pulling for Stacey Abrams too. So
I was really hoping that the Republicans would take care of her for us, but yeah, it's gonna be we need Marcus to do it. Yeah. So yes, and Stacey Abrams too. Georgia as a whole is actually very important, especially the governorship. I think we really need Stacey Abrams to take that state over.
I think she's got a great shot.
I actually do too. And I mean, you know, you talk about future presidents. That's actually somebody that, you know, I could definitely see myself supporting.
Definitely supporting. I don't want to get knocked for this, but I don't know if she could win. But she would definitely have my support if she ran. But
I mean, it's hard enough for a female to win. Being a black female isn't
right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
right.
It's not, you know,
right. You know, like they all are terrified of her because of her fundraising, because of getting all these people together to vote, like one of the highest voter registrations in history because of her, things like that.
That's what makes her so dangerous, though.
Exactly. But they would just demonize her even worse than Kamala, you know, because.
But it's like, but somebody like her, I think she's going to be one of the few exceptions. And here's why I say that. Because of everything you just said. Because of all, you know, getting everybody registered and the way that she's put herself out there, that's different. That, you know, that's like, oh, she gives a shit.
Yeah.
She's gotten us all to register. Like people will show up for her.
Yeah.
And that's a nationwide thing. Like the love that people have, and respect and admiration people have for her seems to be very universal, on the left at least.
For sure.
You know, which, like I said, I could see myself supporting her. When we talk about, I need to start bringing her up more when we talk about future Democrats, because she is somebody that I think we could get a majority of people on board with.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I think that the future could look pretty bright for Georgia, you know?
Yes.
Like, really. Like, what if we just flip that entire bitch blue? Like, that would just be incredible.
It would be.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move on to the next section. So the next three things we're going to talk about is going to be surrounding mass shootings, pretty much. But I wanted to talk about Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham saying that cannabis is what leads to mass shootings. Well, it was cannabis, porn, video games. What the fuck?
You know, I think that Fox News could use some weed personally. They just need to chill.
And some porn.
Oh,
go fucking rub one out in the bathroom, Tucker.
All of these things that they're saying are so awful. But like I tweeted you this earlier, but literally the only thing I've ever wanted to murder when I was stoned was a burrito. So it's like, you know, This is not why this happened. This kid was radicalized by Fox News and Trump rallies and things like that. I mean, seeing these images of him, and if I don't know if you took a listen to any of his Spotify music, this kid was deeply disturbed. He had an entire song that was about, I don't know like what you can say on YouTube and what you can't. The song is basically playing out going into a school and children. Like this was on Spotify. This had thousands and thousands of listens, right? Like he had all
and nobody reported it.
That's what I mean. You know, it's like, where were the signs? The signs were all over the fucking internet.
Right here.
Right? And you can't even tweet for like someone to shut the fuck up. But this kid can have music on there that's talking about fantasizing about murdering school children. You know, like I don't understand again.
Yeah.
Like where we get censored so hard as left content creators on TikTok, on Twitter. We have to be so careful. We can't even say the word abortion, right? But like this kid can have these songs and basically manifestos online and nothing happens. So it's like, who really is regulating this? Because we get banned and censored and our videos taken down and stuff. And we're trying to combat what's happening here. Why are these videos and things like still staying up online and nobody's doing anything? And also the people that are listening to this shit, I would have reported that so fast. Like that many listens and nobody thought, this is a little dangerous. This is a little Kyle Rittenhouse-ish. You know what I mean? Like,
well, not only that, but can we talk about the loophole on how he got his gun?
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
His dad. So when we talk about gun laws, gun control, the automatic thing is we want to take all your guns. We don't want to take all your guns. I'm not planning on coughing up my Glock anytime soon. Right. But when you have a 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid who is disturbed, who the cops have been called, that the cops have had to remove knives from the house, like all this shit. And then the dad, after having knives removed from the house, goes out and helps him get a freaking AR-15. Like they're talking about charging the dad because absolutely. In that situation, you helped your son get a weapon of war. He went and freaking like massacred people. He should absolutely be held accountable.
1,000,000%. But also the fact that this kid can't even buy alcohol, but he can buy a gun like that.
Yeah. Right?
But pot's to blame.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like the system is to blame, like
and SSRIs too. Yeah.
We're talking about prescription medication, right?
Well, SSRIs, serotonin inhibitors. It's a mental health medication. They're blaming those too, saying that they cause like rage. And I'm like, okay, it really pissed me off on a personal level, just because I don't know if I've ever told you specifically, but I'm bipolar, and I didn't find out till I was 2018. And those SSRIs that they're talking about are the reason that I'm able to function the way that I do. They're why I'm myself again. And so it's really disheartening to see them, attack that and try to use that as, to justify why these guns are killing people. It's like, it's not the medication. It's not the weed. No, it's literally the fucking guns and the radicalized people that you guys keep allowing to do this. Yeah. Like you're enabling these people to go out and shoot people. You're making excuses for them. You're making excuses to keep guns on the street. Yeah. Because it's about the money.
That whole Tucker Carlson rant, it's women nagging, it's antidepressant medication, it's video games, it's porn, it's all this. It is everything except for the root of the cause, which is the fucking gun.
Yep. Nobody needs an AR-15. You do not need an AR-15 to protect your family.
No, you don't.
If you think you do, you're a fucking pussy. I don't know what to say.
I totally agree with you. And for hunting, you know what I mean? Like that would obliterate a cow. Like you wouldn't even.
There's no meat. You got.
That's what I mean. You know, like it's all ridiculous talking points. And there was no such thing as an AR-15 when the Second Amendment was put into place.
Yeah.
Right.
You could shoot one bullet every like 35 seconds, maybe minute.
Right. Yeah. Things have changed, and so the Constitution and all of these things need to be revamped and shit. Like the laws and the things that they had in place 200 and however many fucking years ago it was. That is not match with our current day climate and situation of what's going on, and it needs to be relooked at.
Yep. Nope. I totally agree.
Gotta make that
The Constitution and everything was written as a living, breathing document for a reason.
Yep.
You know, that's what made it such a beautiful document, was that it could evolve with society. You
Right.
know, but when the people are crooked and they don't do what needs to be done for it to evolve, when, you know, it's like anything. If you don't water it, it dies.
Right.
If you don't evolve it, it stays stagnant and it dies. You
Has
know,
it ever been updated? Do you know? I don't think it has.
well, I mean, the amendments, you know, I mean, so that, but that's my point. The amendments are supposed to be updated. The Supreme Court, we should be at like 13 justices by now.
For
You
the
know,
district, correct?
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it just feels like for some reason our government and the Constitution stagnated, and we can't pull it back for some reason. Like we can't seem to get on the same page and look at it and go, yep, I see. You know, it's like looking at proofreading something. We can't look at the same sentence and go, oh, yep, that period's wrong, or, you know, that I needs to be you know, dotted, T needs to be crossed. We can't get on the same fucking page. We can't
Right.
even get in the same chapter.
Right.
So it's
I
like,
think
how,
we could have pre-Trump, right? So things were much more civil before, you
I,
know, like I think the Obama era is what really kind of
but
started going
that's,
in this direction.
I don't know. It's tough, man. I think the Clinton era was when things really, you know, 94, 96 was when things really started taking a weird turn for the Democrats and started making winning elections difficult. Um, I think Obama, was very unifying for the majority of the country. And I think
Yeah.
we need to remember that, you know, Democrats have won the popular vote pretty much, you know, every election since then.
Yeah.
And so I do think that's the majority. However, I don't know if I agree with that last part of like we'd get more done, or it was more civil. I think it was more, I think civil's probably the right word, but I think it was also more hidden. I think the underbelly was just, you know, better hidden
Just as
from
bad.
us.
There wasn't social media like there is now. And
Yeah, it wasn't. You know, you got to remember Obama was really, you know, one of the pioneers of social media,
yeah,
you know, politics. You know, he was, I always say this, he was kind of, his family was like the Kennedys of our generation. And what I mean by that, I don't mean like governing and all that. What I mean is the Kennedys, when they came into office, TVs were becoming, you know, it was 1960, TVs were becoming a thing. So he had to present himself in a way that a lot of presidents prior to him didn't have to, you know,
right,
and they were doing, you know, starting to do it in color, which was new.
right.
So they came into the presidency at the same kind of, uh,
Time.
yeah, the same kind of shift in
Yeah.
how society intakes information, and because of that, they played such a huge role in how Americans intake politics.
Right.
And Obama was the same way. It was just him and his family came in at a time where, you know, you leveraged Facebook, you leveraged Twitter, you know, you did it all. And he was one of the first people to really start fundraising on social media, and they did a freaking fantastic job. It was one of the reasons he was pulling in $100 million in a quarter, why everybody else was pulling in 50. You know, it was just awesome. But unfortunately, it's like the pendulum swing. As the pendulum swings, it's going to swing back the other way.
Yeah.
And it brought out all the racists, it brought out all the white nationalists, it brought out everybody that felt like their way of life was being attacked by a black man being president.
I totally agree.
You know, and this is where we're at. But like we've said, now's the time to get people to realize that, and realize that we're in a war,
Yeah.
and it's time for us to do something.
Yeah.
And so let's go back to real, how crazy has it really gotten in America? If I told you that there was a sitting congresswoman who stood on the House floor and said that in an extreme case, she would shoot her own grandchildren, you'd say, what would you say?
I would say, like, what TV show are you watching? Like,
Right?
it's just so out there and so
Like this,
like
is it on
asking
HBO?
for
Is it on
something
HBO,
that she's
Maxie?
trying to make, you know, it doesn't seem real, you know. It's like, and these videos come out every day. We report on them, and it's just getting crazier and crazier.
It
And I
is.
really just hope that her kids don't let her see her grandchildren. She should be the first one under a red flag law.
She should, which is what she was arguing against. So I
That's
actually
gonna
have the video. I'm gonna play it. Hopefully it plays
be
right because I haven't used this before. So I'm gonna play it so that everybody can kind of see it. I don't think I'm gonna play the whole thing. I'm just gonna play the juicy part. But so this is what we're talking about. Debbie Lesko here in Arizona. And the reason I'm upset about this because fellow Arizonan, and she's running unopposed. And she's running unopposed. One of the big reasons is because the Democratic Party here in Arizona will not put any time, effort, or resources into helping a Democrat in that district. And it really pisses me off because if we can't beat a woman who's standing on the House floor saying that she would shoot her own grandkids,
we're fucked.
we're fucked.
We're
So,
fucked.
so with that said, this person's running unopposed in my state.
Is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Representative Jordan. I rise in opposition to H.R. 2377. I have 5 grandchildren. I would do anything to protect my 5 grandchildren, including, as a last resort, shooting them if I had to protect the lives of my grandchildren. Democrat bills that we've heard this week want to take away my right to protect my grandchildren. They want to take away the...
It's so crazy.
Now, the kicker is, I've watched this 5 times. I've watched it way more than that now, but before I posted it, I watched it 5 times. Because, it's one of those things. You want to make sure, did I hear that right?
Dissect it. Did she really say it how I think she just said it?
Like, did this bitch really just say that? Like, okay. No, I'm telling you right now, I went into the room with my wife and I said, babe, watch this and tell me what you hear. And so my issue is everybody's like, well, clearly she misspoke.
No.
Did she?
No.
Because she took a pause. She didn't correct herself. Okay. And then she goes on to talk about red flag gun laws. And it's
lady, you're a walking red flag.
You're walking red flag,
She's
and
the
it's
last person who needs a gun.
Because my thing is, and she had a piece of paper she was reading off of too. That's the other thing. So it wasn't like she was just standing up there riffing. She had a piece of paper that she was referencing off of.
Like someone went over that and was like, yeah, say this.
Yeah, that's a perfect talking point. They'll love it, But again, that video was from June 6th, either June 6th or June 9th.
Okay.
So it went viral on my thing yesterday, the day before.
That's where I said. I saw it on your feed.
Right.
I was like, what the hell is this? Like,
so it actually went so viral that she was trending on Twitter at I think the top was 9th, she was trending number 9. And this is because of me, and I will take full credit for this. Of
course it is.
But she made a statement. She did a tweet. And she's like, oh, here's the radical left, attacking my red flag gun law thing. And I'm like, even in the tweet, she didn't really say.
I didn't say that because she did,
She
but
did say it.
How dare they come after me for my exact video quote of what I said?
Any you don't have kids, do you?
Well, I do.
Well, you have a dog, but yeah.
No, I have a stepdaughter. So my stepdaughter.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
oh, okay. So okay. So you have a stepdaughter. It's like, oh my God, I can't. I can't.
You're responsible for the things that you say, right? But Trump kind of took all of that away because he could just say whatever he wanted and there was no accountability for it. And that's where the hatred and all these things are spewing. But what I think is the irony of it all is she feels so attacked that people are just putting out a video of exactly what you said. Like you said it, own it. And just like you said, she didn't say, I didn't mean or I didn't say that.
If you're going up there and you say, you know what, I would even shoot my own stepdaughter. You'd go, Oops, shit, fuck. I messed that. My bad. Clearly I didn't mean that. Like
First of all,
something.
my mentality in itself, like what are you protecting them from? Gay people, people of color, what in what scenario in America in 2022? Like, this isn't the plague. This isn't like a war, like what scenario would you really need to shoot your grandkids to protect them? Like, it's just like the mentality is just so out there and
Yeah.
it's dangerous. Like, the rhetoric that's even saying that out loud is dangerous because
Yep.
you're gonna have these right wingness that are like, that's right, I'm gonna shoot my fucking kids if another Democrat wins the presidency. You're like, oh my God, these people
Well,
are so far beyond help. And what
it
do we
can
do?
can we also point out, like, let's not act like this is crazy. There's plenty of stories of people out there like doing murder suicides, killing
Yeah.
all their family and then killing themselves.
Yeah.
So like what she said actually happens.
Oh,
That's why I'm like, I don't think people should just be dismissing this, because literally every time I watched that, I took it as in an extreme circumstance, she would even shoot her own grandchild
right.
to save them from some impending doom. And
Well,
it's
let's
like,
think about a scenario here that is going to tie this together perfectly. Jonestown. All of those people drank Kool-Aid and gave, okay, well, first of all, they gave this man, this prophet, this godlike, charismatic con man, all of their money. They sold all of their possessions. They moved all of their families to this fucking country. And then he said that the boogeymen are going to come and get them and ruin their paradise. And they lined up their children and they murdered them. They killed their own kids. And that is what we are dealing with the Republican Party and their followers. Like,
amen.
full stop. Full stop. The
No,
comparison.
I think that's the best way to put it.
You know?
And so the last thing, so Debbie Lesko, she's crazy.
Can someone just run really quick and like, can we just?
Yeah, it would need to be a write-in at this
Can I
point.
move
But
to Arizona and run? Like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna fix this?
hey, man, you run to Arizona, I'll help you run.
What's the crazy shit with this is that nobody is running against that.
Well, again, it's I don't like bashing my own party, but it's another failure on my party because
Totally agree.
nobody wants to run, and myself included, with no support. Like, when you get out there, it's like you expect your local party to support you, and it's like it's just typical bullshit. And unfortunately, I really don't think the party sees the potential of social media, and they don't know how to harness it and use it.
Agreed.
And
Their messaging fucking sucks. They need to hire better people. They need to hire somebody. It's almost like nobody is doing any of it for them. And if we lose in 2024, that'll be the end of America, and they can have themselves to blame for it.
Pretty much. I got my ballot today, though. I got my ballot. I'm excited. Can't show you the other side, of course, but
yes.
Yep. Okay, so last thing I'm going to bring up, and then I know we got to go. But why I don't think you and I were celebrating, but why other people were celebrating 4th of July, we ended up having 7 mass shootings that day.
Yeah.
And that's mass shootings. That's not all shootings. That's just mass shootings.
Yeah.
But the one in particular, I think that's going to stand out in a lot of our minds for a long time is going to be this Illinois shooting of this kid that we were talking about earlier. What were your feelings, that night?
First of all, I was extremely confused that someone who would claim to be a patriot would choose a 4th of July parade where people are flying American flags and celebrating the freedom and independence of America, that would be the place that he would choose to do it. That was like my first thought. My second thought was, how have we as a society in America only, because it is not like this anywhere else, how have we come to a point where children are not safe in schools, children are not safe in churches, people, malls, you know what I mean? Concerts, and now a parade, where people have kids and they're eating popsicles and they're waving a flag for America. How did we get to a point of society where you are not safe with your family to go anywhere, And I was just I was disgusted. I was appalled. But really it was like, but this is a person who's claiming to be a patriot, like
Yeah.
America first. Then why would you go to a 4th of July parade where they're celebrating your girl, America, and choose that? I mean, why anywhere, but just where it
Specifically
was.
specifically there.
Yeah, I stayed home all weekend. I did not spend a dime of money. I did not drink a drop of alcohol. I don't feel like there's anything to celebrate because America is not free for everyone. I'm not going to like bow to some flag where not every single person here is free. And while they're actively stripping rights away from myself specifically, but of all of these communities like that I care about,
Yep.
like I don't give a shit. Like I had one of my best friends. We've known each other for 20 years and we don't agree on a lot of things politically. But she reached out to me and was really upset that I posted a picture of a woman choking on an American flag, and
Oh, the one where it was
yeah, but saying how dare I disrespect our flag and this and that. And then just a couple of hours later, the shooting happened. And I haven't spoken to her since about it, but it's just like, yeah, great America.
Yeah.
Where a 2-year-old baby lost both of his parents at a 4th of July parade. It's just like, it's senseless. It's disgusting. And like, I don't understand how anybody could be proud to be American with the state of the country. How did you feel?
Yeah, pretty much echo all of that. For me and my wife, just the other angle is being a veteran.
Yeah.
I think most rational Americans were pretty outraged, just for everything you said, being the 4th of July, just all the symbolism, around that day, in particular, it just made it even worse. And as veterans, my wife served a hell of a lot longer than I did. She did 21 years and, she's a Black American woman. And so the country already doesn't really work in her favor.
Right.
And to see the country head down a road that other countries that we've been deployed to have gone down is really tough to watch because, some of us have experienced those horror stories of a kid walking up to a group of soldiers being, but has a bomb on him, blows everybody up. These are the type of things that are starting to happen here. We're going to start seeing this extremism. And, Debbie Lesko talking about, I'd shoot my grandkids in the most extreme, in the most extreme situations. These people will do this. This isn't a joke. When people like Marksy and I and all of our friends come online and we say, look, guys, this is what's going on. And if you can't see the danger, if you can't see the darkness that's at the end of this road, we're in trouble. There's a reason we're standing on the hoods of our cars, waving our arms, screaming at the top of our lungs right now. And like I said, that shooting was the worst, but there were 7. And then there were 2 cops shot in Philadelphia that set off a massive, everybody fleeing immediately, which I don't know if anybody got hurt fleeing, but, I hope nobody did. But, when everybody starts running and you're in a huge group, that's dangerous. And it all started because 2 cops got shot, and which luckily they're both fine and in stable condition. But still, it set that off, and it's just like, but the video that I have it's a perfect shot of like the downtown Philly and where everybody's running, and the fireworks are going off in the background. And it's like, isn't that the most?
I have chills.
Yeah, it's like that's America.
That's America.
That's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
So, well, with that said,
is so important. What you're doing is so important.
What we're doing is important.
I'm very happy to have you on my side and to have our community, because it's the only thing that keeps me sane, knowing that I'm not alone in this.
Yeah, I think you're pretty new to it too, but our little Twitter group, it really is my my little sanctuary.
Love you guys. I hope they're watching. I love you.
I know, we love you guys. But seriously, every time I get banned on TikTok, every time something happens, it's like, our little group is there, and But it's a big group and it's influential people and it's everybody trying to push in the right direction, or I shouldn't say push. We're all trying to row in the same direction. And that's
Yes.
what we need to do this election. We all need to get in sync and rowing in the same direction to save this country for all the reasons that Marcy and I just talked about.
Yep.
So with that said, Marcy, is there anything you want to pitch or throw? I've already got your, if you guys don't follow her on social media, please do. You can see her name down there on the bottom as Little Miss Marxist. She's on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all those.
Yeah.
So all the grams, all the talks, go follow her. Is there anything you want to throw out there?
Nope. I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me. This is our second time talking, and it's just awesome. I feel like going back and forth with you, and I would love to come on anytime. And
Absolutely.
as soon as I get my channel going, you're going to be my first guest.
Yes, absolutely. It's already a yes. You know that. So, and with that said, so guys, please, I know we're not going to agree on everything, especially as liberals, because we all think for ourselves. We all have our own opinions. That's great. We don't have to agree on everything. But the one thing we do have to agree on right now is that our country is in trouble. And the only way that we can fix that is to band together like it was freaking 9/11 or something like that and get the job done. So with that said, please go follow Marcy at Little Miss Marxist. Come follow me, subscribe to my YouTube, come support all of us because we're trying to get the ball moving in the right direction. So with that said, I'll leave you as I always do with much love. Keep fighting and we'll see you guys next week.